Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the reunion of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth podcast. I'm your host, Kai, and joining me today is my incredible co-host, Vyzz. How are you doing, Vyzz?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. It's been a while, and I hope I didn't get out of shape. So we'll see how it goes.
How was your holiday and your New Year's?
It was pretty chill, actually, because we don't have a huge family, which demands days after days after days of celebrating. So it was just the normal Christmas dinner, so to speak. And yeah, that was it basically, with a few other visits with friends and stuff. But other than that, it was pretty chill. How about you?
It was good. Just like you said, traveled to visit with family and spending a lot of time just at home and catching up on my backlog of video games. Because I'm still on holiday. We get 2 weeks of holiday here, so I haven't been working. So what a great opportunity to catch up on some games that I really wanted to play. So I've just been working through Final Fantasy 16.
Nice.
And I've really been enjoying it. Yeah, it's really good so far. I really like this story, and in my opinion, I find it better than Final Fantasy 15, which I did enjoy, but yeah, it's really good. Just some of the side content, I'm like, I've just been skipping the dialogue. I can't. It just goes on, and I'm like, I just want to play through this game. Just let me play this game.
Yeah, some side quests are a bit menial, even if you do learn about the world and characters, but it's a little bit packaged weirdly, I'd say.
Yeah. It just needs to be more, I feel like, applicable to the actual story. So they give me background about like the NPCs and why they need the things they need and why they need me to go and kill these creatures or whatever. But it just, in the grand scheme of like the world, I just don't really care to do it, even though I go and do it anyway because I'm like completionist. So.
Exactly.
Anyway. Yeah, so we're working on it, but it's taking a long time, and I was hoping that I was going to get it finished before I go back to work, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think I'm only halfway through, but
okay, yeah, it's anyway. If you want to do everything, it is a pretty large game.
Yeah, so I've heard.
Mm-hmm. But not as large as the Trails series, because right now I'm still playing through Trails of Cold Steel 3, and I'm at around 180 hours and still not done.
Oh my god, Vyzz.
I'm also a completionist. I want to see everything, and it's big. There's so many NPCs to talk to multiple times.
Oh my god.
But it's
You've been playing that forever.
Well, it is the 8th game of the series, so...
Oh my god. Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've also been playing Lies of P, which I really like.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah. And... what else do I have on PS5? I forget. I'm playing something else on there as well. Anyway, I've been playing a lot of games, and which is great, but I just want to finish 16 so I could kind of move on.
Yeah, I hear you.
To something else. You know what I mean? But
I also try to not mix and match games. Just want to finish one until I move on to the next one, because otherwise it will just screw me over. Because
that's a mistake that I made.
I cannot jump between different gameplay systems on and on. I just need to stick with one.
Yeah, that's my problem. I bought 3 games at the same time, and then I just started them all, and yeah. All right, guys. Well, for today's episode, we're talking about the new Rebirth trailer that was shown at the Game Awards, and also we'll be touching on the recently released Game Informer article that we got as well. The best way to support us here is to like, sub, and share the podcast. We do have a YouTube channel. Subscribe there if you haven't already done so. We post our episodes there. They're audio only, unfortunately. We don't have a video set up. Well, I don't anyway, and you don't want to see my face right now. You can also subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. We're available on any podcast platform. All right, so we are talking about the Rebirth, the Game Awards trailer. So we're just going to give our general thoughts. So I'll start off here. So I really enjoyed the trailer. I was not expecting a live orchestra performance of the theme song. I don't know what I was expecting, but it just wasn't that. But it was absolutely incredible. with the vocalist Lauren Allred. So she actually did vocals for Never Enough, which is a song from the musical The Greatest Showman. And it's really good. So you should check out The Greatest Showman if you haven't yet. And yeah, I thought she has an incredible voice. And it's really giving me kind of Eyes on Me vibes. I don't know about you, but just the emotional, like, man, rewatching that just for like recording the episodes today got me. Like, I don't know about you, but I was like, oh my God, like just
Now that you mention it,
heart.
Eyes on Me is kind of similar. Also composed by Nobuo Uematsu, of course, so there are similarities there. And I think it's also a bit more about love and life, like Eyes on Me, a little bit more than Hollow. Hollow is something completely different in tone and
I agree.
themes. So yeah, it's a really good song. It's kind of an earworm. It's not something that you like. It's more of a mainstream sounding song that you hear on radio, not something that's more on the indie side. But I don't think it matters because it is part of the theater performance, it seems. So it's a song in the game. And also it should sound and feel different than Remake's theme song. And it's connected to Aerith, so I think it fits. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I read an article and Lauren said that she really tried to channel Aerith's character by the sweetness of her voice, and she added like little inflections and stuff like on the recording for the actual game. And she said she did her research of the character and she became a fan of Uematsu through her friends playing video games with his music in it. So she's not necessarily like familiar with Final Fantasy because she didn't play it, but she did her research. So I'm excited to see if it's the same as what we heard in the trailer in the game, or if it's going to be kind of a different performance. But yeah, just I don't know. I just rewatched it and I was like, it just got me. And then I was like, whoa, this is going to break me. Like this game is going to break me just like Remake did. Like with that opening sequence and then the plate fall and everything just crushed me. So I don't know.
Yeah, Platefall crushed me too, I must admit. was hard. Even though the music choice that it didn't just go mute and then played something else when you saw President Shinra was a bit of a bummer, but in the end, the whole thing, and especially the scene afterwards, was just soul crushing. And I'm fully expecting more of those scenes, like Dine, Red 13's father, Seto, and the end. Oh, it's gonna be a wild ride.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this song is fitting for the overall kind of theme for the game. I don't know about you, but anyway.
Yeah.
And just overall, I think TGA, I think it was okay. I just think that they need to let the developers actually like speak longer than 30 seconds. The previous year, I know that there was an issue where they had a lot of people coming up and giving like long speeches, which is not their fault. Like you should have a time limit, but an actual like time limit that's fair. Like 30, going from like having no time limit at all and letting people have like 8-minute long speeches and people storm the stage and talk into the mic and do whatever, and then just having like nothing. Why can't we just have some in between? Like I just don't get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was my criticism, is like the whole year is spent with like, you know, we're playing these games, people working hard on these games, and then they can't even talk. Like what?
It's from one extreme to the ridiculous. Other. Yeah, I didn't understand it either. Also, from our perspective, from a spectator's perspective, you didn't see the timer. I didn't know that, but I noticed some.
I saw it. It showed a clip of it during the show. It showed like a screen in the back, and it was at 30 seconds that was counting down.
Oh right, yeah.
And then it said wrap it up.
Afterwards,
it was like a small little clip.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. While watching it, I watched it on my tablet while doing other things, so I didn't always look at the screen. So I mostly heard or listened to it, unless they showed the world premiere or stuff. but that's probably why I didn't notice. But I noticed that somebody started talking, and many of them said, "Oh, I don't have much time." And then after 30 seconds, the music started playing, and this really irritated me. It was, what's going on with you guys? But yeah.
I said maybe they could record a montage and like include interviews with the different members of the development team, and if they end up winning, they can play that. And then the team comes up and accepts the award after they play like this little montage of them speaking about how it was to be part of such an amazing team that's made the game and that sort of stuff. And then if they win, they go up, they accept it, and they're like, "Thank you. We just want to say thank you, blah, blah," and then they get off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could work, I suppose.
Sometimes they do that where they show a video of like at some other award shows. Then it's already pre-prepared. We know that the time limit for the video that they made is 45 seconds to a minute. And then when they go up, they only have like 15 seconds to say thank you, and then they get off. Mm-hmm. But at least something that acknowledges them as people who work on these games. Like that's... Some people died on the development team of Baldur's Gate, and they literally played music to play them off. Like I just...
Yeah, that was
rude.
Definitely uncalled for.
Anyways, so yeah, and it's more like marketing than it is a game awards show, right? Like it's more just
that is true,
advertising for games, which I get, but if you're gonna call it an award show, then it needs to be
the focus.
That you know what I mean. Anyways,
and the games and game trailers and ads should be the side show and the main show, the awards. But yeah.
Obviously, he needs to pay for all of this, right? Like we get it. We understand how it works.
It needs to draw in more views, and more views you can draw in with more trailers, more world premieres, and stuff like that.
But it's becoming like E3, which was just... The E3 was like the thing. It was like one thing. It was, and all the responsibility was on E3, right? Like it was this one show for the whole year where it had game reveals, console reveals, everything. And I don't think that's good. And all of this stuff is on Jeff Keighley's shoulders, right? It's just his award show. All of this it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? I know he has Summer Game Fest, but it's just not the same. Like Summer Game Fest is not the same. But should we really have everything on one person's shoulders?
Probably not.
I just don't think so. I just don't think that it leads to good places.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my opinion about TGA like overall. After we got a full-length trailer, which I thought looked amazing, most all the characters in costumes, which I thought was so sick. Some things kind of got spoiled, I guess, but not really. I mean, like if you played Remake through to the end and you saw the last few scenes, you knew like what they were trying to do. People survived, quote unquote, or didn't. We don't know where the scene's taking place yet, if it's in a different reality or whatever. But we did see Biggs, so that was a little bit of a spoiler there.
Yep.
Dine reveal was awesome. There was also a Marlene scene. She says something like, when Aerith wakes up, a scary man's gonna kill her. And I was like, what do you mean when she wakes up?
Oh, right. Yeah, that scene played before the other one where you see Zack hovering over her when she's lying in her bed. So when Marlene says it, you don't know. Well, you know that it's about Aerith, but you don't know that she's also lying in the same room.
Yes, exactly.
You only see that later in the trailer.
More Sid and Vincent. Well, Sid was revealed in this trailer, right? We never saw him in a previous trailer, which was really cool. Did we get any new characters? I don't think we did. We didn't see any new characters.
Not major ones. There's Mr. Coates, who's now called Solemn Gus.
Yeah, I just wrote that on there.
Other than that,
I thought he was a new character. Then I realized after, but I was like, why did they change his name? Like, I don't know.
Like,
why?
Everybody's asking the same question. Why?
Just leave the name the same, because I guess if you didn't play the original, then you have no attachment to any of the names, so it doesn't really matter, you know what I mean? But still, I just find it odd.
Well, maybe he is called Gust of Coats, and everybody calls him just Solemn Gust, or that's the title he chose. But it's still called Gust of Coats or something. I don't know. I hope so, anyway.
We got to look at the Haunted Hotel, which I thought looked awesome. I love creepy stuff. So.
Yeah, it looked creepy. Also, those ghosts are floating about, those whisper-like ghosts with arms. Like, okay. I get you, game. I see what you're doing.
Yeah. In the last scene, we saw the whispers around Aerith, which the praying scene, which red flag for me, but we'll talk about that a little bit later in the episode. And yeah, I just said, I'm in it to win it. I love this game. What we've seen so far, I know I haven't played it. I just want to play it now. Like my body's ready. The only thing is that I hope that the story additions or updates like actually make sense.
Yeah, same. They mesh seamlessly into the greater narrative and the story, not just side stuff that without them nothing would change, or without them that or if their addition does not really add something substantial or more context to something.
I just want it to make sense. Like if they're adding things, like I don't want it to be convoluted garbage where it just breaks my brain. Like I can't understand. Like 13 did that. Like all of the story was in data logs that I just had to spend hours reading to understand like the story. And then I still didn't really understand it. Like I just want it to be things that apply to the story that I actually like understand. That makes sense.
Yeah, so that you don't need to rely on the whole theory crafting community to understand what's going on. Like the basis of everything you should be able to understand. Maybe more details, of course, need to be discussed and theorized about. That's fine. But if some crucial aspects are weird, don't quite make sense, or you just have to sweep under the rug to make sense of the rest, then I'd say, okay, that's not good. No good.
I don't mind looking online and chatting with you and, you know, people in the community about all of these things. I love that, right? Because then I get a different perspective. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why. Okay,
exactly.
That is fine. I just, when I'm playing through the game, I just want to make sure that I understand and I can kind of follow, I guess. But
yeah, at least the core of the main story and which event leads to which one, and that everything makes sense and the main premise is clear and stuff. But yeah.
All right, Vyzz, what were your general thoughts on the trailer and the Game Awards?
Let's say quite positive. At first, I did not want to watch it, or was very hesitant, because I thought, well, it's around 2 to 3 months away. Maybe they will show too much, and I also wasn't able to watch it live because it was like 2 or 3 a.m. my time. I didn't want to go to sleep early, wake up, watch the thing, and then go to sleep again. And it was, I think, Thursday or Friday night. So I would have had to go to work the next day. I thought, no, not doing that. So I just watched the whole Game Awards show afterwards and only listened to the theme song trailer. It was only the theme song portion, actually, not the full trailer, just the latter part. So just by listening to it, I wasn't spoiled at all. I just heard Lauren Allred singing, and of course the lyrics, which reminded me of Aerith and a little bit of Zack and the ending, and promises are not necessary. Of course, when you die, you don't need to promise to die to get in touch with the others in the afterlife. That was my first thought, anyway. So that was cool. And yeah, then I had some people tell me what was in the trailer in a very non-spoiler way, very vague way. Then I thought,
you might as well just watch it.
I don't think it sounds. Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad. And also, had I not watched it, this podcast would not have happened, and I would have had to basically go away from the internet and from my own community, and I thought, nah, not happening. So I just watched it anyway. And in general, was really, really good. I'd just say a few sack scenes, or maybe all sack scenes, I personally could have skipped them. But I watched them, now I'm theorizing about them a little bit, and it's fine, I guess. Didn't really spoil things. It just, it's a mixture between raising more questions and revealing a few things that we had questions about before, but it still doesn't quite answer those questions. It's more like, yeah, okay, now we know Biggs woke up in continuity, Zack is in, but what does that mean? It's just the mess got messier. You see the mess clear now, but it's also messier. It's something weird. So I just say I think I have to commend them for creating trailers that do not clearly answer questions, only make you hyped for the game. And
we might not actually get questions during the game. I mean, answers during the game.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that many questions we have will not get answered, or
probably
not fully, at least. Yeah, because it's not finished yet.
Yeah,
the whole thing. So yeah, I think that's the overall impressions I had. I could share, and I have some specifically positive points about it. Everything gold's also related, while, let's say, a tiny bit spoilery.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I think it's great to see what they're going for, what they're doing with it. Because now I'm really, really hyped to see the full scene, the full theater or play part, and the song, and the dates, which are basically the same.
Yeah.
At least in lineup, so it's the same characters. Maybe there are more, and they just haven't showed it yet, because we can also play as Red 13 and Catchy, or Kate Sith, as he's probably called in the English version.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not, because one is a robot, the other one is an animal, so maybe not, but we'll see. The Dine scene, really, really well done. Those few seconds we saw, Dine looks appropriately broken and psychopathic.
Yeah.
So that one's good, even though a few colors are different, but I personally don't mind, because the colors of his outfit and hair is not what makes him Dine. It's like the representation of his inner turmoil needs to be expressed outside. That's what I think is important. More of Bugenhagen is always great. So they're in the G cave, and you barely see hints of G Natak, or however it's pronounced. It was really good. And confirmation of, or not confirmation, but hints to where Red 13 got his tattoo from. Like the one right below the 13. It's also featured on Bugenhagen's garments. So that's cool. That's pretty cool. I'm now wondering, where does it come from? Who designed this thing, and what does it represent? I love such details. And probably the most hilarious part is the Moogle dunk shot with Tifa and Kate Sith. It's so funny.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so funny to see. And I think the main highlight next to Gold Saucer is Sid. He looks so good, but more on that later. A little bit better look on Vincent, but only on his face.
Yeah.
The rest of his body is basically only seen in the render, official render. In the other shot where we see all characters in there, he's quite tiny in the back there, so you couldn't get a nice look on him in the trailer. But still, more Vincent is always good. And I also liked the three summons that were revealed: Titan, Phoenix, and Bahamut Arisen. Not Neo Bahamut, but Bahamut Arisen, which Rebirth, Arise, Arisen. Yeah, I know why. It's pretty obvious why it's now called that way. And something that probably not everybody noticed. I also didn't notice it at first because I didn't pay attention, but many people said, "Oh, Temple of the Ancient City, I still haven't showed it yet," and stuff. And well, they did. Just didn't show it, but they had us listen to it. It was the battle theme song of Temple of the Ancients. Like the first temple theme in a rearranged in a battle version, which is pretty sick. I love this version. I posted on our CCO Twitter account or X, whatever, a video which showcases which parts represent which original segments of the first temple track. So,
okay.
Just go there and watch the video and see or listen to what I'm talking about. There was also one of the highlights after watching it.
Yeah, I have to go back and watch it again because I did not realize that.
I think you hear it best, like part of the theme that's mostly attributed to the song can be heard during the scene where you hear Dine say something about Marlene and stuff.
Okay.
I think that's the section. And seeing the summons, I'm pretty sure. But if you listen to it, you'll notice. And negative, barely anything besides what I mentioned before, like the sax scenes. It's not a negative in the sense of badly made or bad clips shown or anything like that. Nothing of the sort. It's just like I personally could have done without them, because it's kind of like watching the episode intermission trailer and already seeing the fight against Scarlet, fight against Nero. It's you've seen those, and then you've seen basically the whole DLC, or not the whole one, but the most important parts, kind of. And I don't know, but it's a big game, not like a DLC that only goes on for a few hours, 2 chapters, and then you're done. It's a huge game, and they can show so many parts and so much, and still only still let us in the dark about 90% of the game. Yeah. So that's not too bad, I suppose. And as you mentioned before, the whispers behind Aerith, it's just we defeated the whispers. Now they're back. Well, thanks. Did anything change? What was the point of it? But we'll see, I suppose. I'm pretty sure there is a point or a reason for why they're back. Also, something we probably won't cover, but I just want to mention too, there was a showcase of multiple games. I forgot which context it was in, maybe just some PlayStation showcase or Unreal or something like that. I forgot because I didn't care. But at the very beginning, there are a few shots of FF7 Rebirth, and one of the shots is something new, an area we haven't seen yet, or at least it's not clear which area it represents. Just with Cloud wielding his Buster Sword, and behind you see whispers floating around. And one theory is it could be somewhere within the ruins of the Gongaga reactor, because of the pipes and some ivy hanging from one of the pipes. So maybe something related to Zack there. I don't know. But it's just, I don't know. I was hoping for only seeing the whispers in Zack's continuity and not in ours. But well, we all cannot have all the nice things. Yeah, I suppose. But I'm sure when I play through the game, I have all the context and I'm happy with it. But for right now, I'm
Yeah, I just hope that there's an explanation. There probably won't be, but
yeah. Well, yes and no, probably.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So moving on here, we're just going to touch on a few sections here that were shown, I guess, in the trailer. So the first one we're going to be talking about is the gold saucer. So we're going to focus on that. So for me, I was so excited because Barrett date confirmed.
Yeah, bromance.
Because y'all know we want to date Barrett. Come on. So yeah, I'm excited for the date scenes. The affinity system is even more baked in now. We're going to be talking about the Game Informer article a little bit later, but they did confirm that there are side quests for the other characters. So you team up, like there's a duo, and then you go on a side quest with them, and it increases synergy and affinity with the other party members when you go do those side quests. And that probably determines who you end up going on a date with. Obviously, we don't know, but I'm just excited for that. I just think that they took that little system from the OG that was just kind of boop, like plopped in there, and then they expanded on it and made it even more important. You know what I mean? Which I think is really cool.
Yep.
Haunted Hotel looks cool. Like I already said, I can't wait to visit there. Just overall, the gold saucer, the design of it, I'm really happy with it. I think it looks bright, like the original. It just looks really cool, big and open. Madame M, love seeing Madame M. She's there.
Yeah.
I said, I wonder if we're gonna get another massage from Madame M. Massage
Let's hope so.
in quotations, because I don't know what she did to us in the remake, but it sounded painful.
Well, yeah. Probably do not want to know.
I don't know if we would call that a massage or not, but
yeah.
Anyway, I paid for the most expensive massage. That's what I paid for. I don't know if you did. I think you did. Thinking back, did you?
At first, yes, and on subsequent playthroughs, I of course checked out the other ones because I'm a completionist. And the cheapest one is just harrowing. It's poor Cloud.
So I'm wondering if she has like a massage parlor set up, like at the Gold Saucer. She's got like a franchise going or something.
Or maybe she's in the Chocobo Square, so maybe there is a Chocobo feet massage, like it tramples upon your back and then your back is fine again, or not. Who knows? I don't know.
Interesting. Then your Chocobo goes faster in the race?
Or that, yeah.
I just said, I think we'll be spending a lot of time here. Or at least I will be. I don't know about anybody else, but that's pretty much it for me. What did you think about the Gold Saucer in the trailer?
As I mentioned before, I'm so stoked about it. Also, I've on my second screen, I have the blog post open with a screenshot of the central square of Gold Saucer, and it looks awesome. So many colors, so many stairs and tubes into all those other squares, and it's just grand. I'm so looking forward to it. Most of all, the play, because it doesn't seem to be just character specific. Like in the original game, you went into the play only with your date, nobody else. And now everybody's part of it, it seems. At least we saw Aerith, Cloud, Barrett, Breathertine, and Kate Sith.
Yeah.
I don't like calling him Kate Sith. For me, he will always be Cat Sheep, but I'll try to accommodate for the official pronunciation, at least according to Twitter, the English Twitter account. But yeah. It's always a thing, and it always leads to arguments in the CCO Discord server. But yeah, it's always fun to watch. But yeah, they revealed that the one who plays Rosa changes depending on your affinity with the girl. So I'm pretty sure it's either Aerith, Tifa, or Yuffie. And Barrett will probably always play the Dragon King, I suppose. Maybe not. Who knows what funny versions they have concocted, but that's for now my prediction. But the song performance we saw, it looks to be on the same stage because everybody else is still in the same getup.
Yeah, but they're watching from the side, like the backstage.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, backstage, exactly. And there's always only Aerith in a different costume singing there with some VR, or they say VR, but I call it AR because Aerith is actually there, but is supplemented with AR or augmented reality elements, like the flowers that sprout beneath her, and then you see Jessie and other dancers in the background. Or at least I think that short scene with Jessie is taking place alongside of Aerith's performance. At least that's what the blog post insinuates. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a video you can watch outside of the theater square, or like in the lobby, something like that, like previous performances. Just have a look at it, and then party can reminisce about Jessie being all sad. But yeah, I think that's that's about it. Although there were also discussions when exactly the song takes place, when Aerith sings. My prediction is right after the theater or the play as an encore, basically, like the thing is done, or even maybe as the final act that she sings it. But then it would have to change between Aerith, Tifa, and Yuffie if the role of Rosa changes. So I'm pretty sure it's just a separate thing because she's in a different costume. And hearing Tifa or Yuffie sing a song that is meant for Aerith, as Nobuo Uematsu-san explicitly stated, and also Lauren Allred and everything else, it seems to be intricately tied to Aerith, so only she has to be able to sing it, in my opinion. So that's where I stand currently. And what the theme song even means exactly, well, it's hard to say. I also do not want to go into too much detail right now, but it does seem that it talks about fate, like whether it was fate that we met, and that they do not need to be promises to keep for something to happen. And some people took that as a slight jab at Tifa and Cloud because they needed a promise, or they made a promise and stuff like that. That's also integral to their characters and their relationships. And if we think that Aerith sings about Zack and that there's no promises to be made, or the promises are not needed for them to meet again, that to me says, okay, yeah, Aerith dies, they meet again, yoo-hoo. But I think this is a very, very surface level take. But yeah, I haven't delved too much into that yet, so I do not want to to lean too far out of the window for this one right now. But yeah, it's also possible that you can interpret this song in different ways. Maybe also she and Cloud because of the possible soft canon date with her and Cloud, depending on how it's depicted, of course. This kind of reminds me of other games where you have affinities with other characters and can have kind of dates or bonding events, like the one in Trails of Cold Steel. The bonding events when you get a character or multiple characters to the max bonding level, they have a special scene, and some scenes are definitely going into the relationship direction, like they kiss and stuff, but others, they do not. They just hug it out or just have a nice conversation. And that's what I mean with soft canon. Like the soft canon couple is one specific couple in the Trails of Cold Steel series, or sub-series, I should say, because there's a kiss, and in the others there is not. So maybe there's something similar here, that you get more of a relationship vibe with Aerith and a little bit less with Tifa and much less with Yuffie, and with Barrett it's just a bromance, of course. That maybe not. Maybe they make it even more ambiguous. Who knows? We'll see, I suppose. So we'll see when we hear the full song and have the context of the whole game, and then we can judge it a little bit more, I guess, because right now it's too much speculation, and I don't like to speculate. For fun, yes, but seriously, nah. I do not want to commit right now. But for me personally, it sounds a little bit more like an Aerith Zack situation.
I think so
and too. What's also there is the theme of life and loss, which is more prevalent now than in Remake, because Remake was more about corporatism and the sucking life out of the planet, and more environmentalism and such. But now it's more about bonds and life and loss and how to deal with it and stuff like that. So it ends with Aerith's death, or at least where she died in the original game. So it needs to tie to that, the theme song, which also leads me more to the conclusion I mentioned before. So that's my long-winded thought process about it. Okay, and to to jump off of your take regarding the affinity system and the synergy things, what I remember from reading is that the two main factors for the affinity system are character quests, like quests where a secondary character is locked in, and if you do it, affinity with that character increases. And then there are also synergy levels or synergy ability levels per character or per character pairing, and that can level up. And I think you learn either more such abilities or they get stronger. And I think that also raises the affinity between those characters, like with Cloud and Barret, or Cloud and Aerith and stuff like that. Maybe there are more points or more contributing factors, who knows? But those are the two we know for certain that have been confirmed.
Yeah, probably like dialogue choices, like in the original as well, might still impact.
Yeah, probably. Like, where was it? Was it also in the blog post? I think there was a screenshot with Aerith where you could answer to her question about climbing the clock tower in Calm. Yes, let's do it, or no, let's don't, or well, if I have to. And that might not be a part of a side quest. It might just be a part of a mini event, or just some mini conversation, and you can do it if you want, or not if you don't. And yeah, those could also contribute if they're not part of a side quest. I agree. That's also something. Also, well, it's in the flashback with playing the piano or not, or maybe also even going into Tifa's room or not. I don't think that changes the affinity level, but those replies, responses seem to be much more prevalent in this game. And also, it's about bonds. So Cloud reacting to certain questions or statements or situations where you, as the player, have to choose, plays right into that. So looking forward to it. Also increases replayability.
Yeah.
All right. Then what's more? Kate Sith, or Cat-Chi, was also there in a weird jester outfit, like with the neck crease, or however it's called, and the jester hat, and a little cape. Well, he always has a cape, but still, he looks funny. Yeah. I wonder what the context is, because he wears it during Aerith's song performance, and when he, I don't know, just says something about the confrontation between Cloud and Dio, some challenge. I don't know. Like you see if the camera focused to him, and then it zooms out, and you see Cloud and Dio like shaking hands or what have you. I don't know. Maybe they're having a duel or a cook-off, or who the fork knows. I don't know. It's just some challenge between those two will be happening, and I look forward to it. Also, speaking of, Dio he's a hulking beast of a man. Like, Barret is a stick compared to him. What in the nine hells is going on there with that dude? Seriously, his legs are like almost wider than Cloud's torso.
It's good. It's good.
It's perfect. It looks so good.
The original, they were like so big too.
Yeah, so. That is true. That is true. Also, he's not quite in his speedo or in those briefs or what have you, but very short trunks. So it's that the vibe of the original design is still there. So it's great. But he also has a cape, which I think is a good addition. I'm pretty sure the Dio statue on top of the gold saucer in the original render also has him with a cape, but I'd have to check. It just popped into my head. So maybe that's where the cape comes from. Because he did not have one on his field model. Yeah. Look forward to Dio. His handlebar mustache looks fantastic. Fabulous, even. He's a great dude. It's just the vibe he gives off and how he speaks. Just like a good dude. It's a bulk of a man. He's leading gold saucer and everything. But I think he has a heart of gold. Pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong, but who knows? Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure somewhere it said that he was traveling the world to like refine his skills in martial arts and to steal his body or something like that. Maybe I can find it here. Charismatic owner of the Gold Saucer, famous for his brawny physique and handlebar mustache. Dio's often found participating. No, it doesn't say here. I don't remember where it said that. Was it in an interview or something? I remember something weird about him traveling the world and stuff. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it was in the Game Informer article or something. Or maybe I dreamt it up. Who knows? Maybe the audience can verify. Yeah. What you mentioned, Madam M, great to see her. We already saw Andrea Rodea in some sort of Thriller performance, like Michael Jackson's Thriller dance performance in a probably Central Square in the previous trailer. We've not seen Chocobo Sam. I wonder where he is at, but we'll probably see him again. Yes, only seeing 2 of the 3 would feel very weird. And you already talked about the haunted hotel. I hope we hear Kefka's laugh again when talking to this weird pumpkin head in Haunted House inside. I'm also looking forward to how it looks inside. It needs to look and feel very, very creepy. And I think it was the inn owner or also the store owner there. They're like just hanged man just falling from the ceiling when you talk to him. It's so campy a little bit. So
yeah, it looks like they are keeping a lot of the camp, so that's good.
Oh yeah, definitely. We've seen it already in previous trailers. It's so fun. Also, Central Square. I think they kind of kept the tube traveling between the squares. Maybe not jumping in and then floating through them like a slide. But when you look at the screenshot with the overview, like showing the whole Central Square, you do see that there are stairs or escalators or something like that in tubes going to the different squares. So the spirit is alive and well.
Yeah.
And I think that's it from my side about Gold Saucer. And yeah, minigames, of course, but minigames is an entirely different beast. Not quite as much featured in this trailer.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on here, we're going to touch a little bit on Sid, which he was revealed in this trailer. We got a better look at Sid. So I'm really happy with his design. I said the voice acting is good, but once again, I just feel like they're not mixed properly for these trailers, just the vocal tracks. I don't know why, but it just seems like off-putting, but it happened in for a remake as well. So
yeah,
I have faith. I think it's going to be much better in the final product.
I'm pretty sure that the voice actors specifically record for trailers, so they do not take in-game lines for the trailer. I'm pretty sure. Well, I guess it depends on how far they are in, but
yeah.
I also remember Cody talking about recording for a trailer or something back when Remake was still in development. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys can correct me if you want. But that's the feeling I get. And I'm also remembering hearing about it that trailers are usually recorded separately.
That makes sense then. Yeah. He's missing his cigarette. So people were pretty upset about that, as it's kind of part of his design. So I just said maybe they'll make it into like a story element. They did have smoking in Final Fantasy 16, so I don't know why they wouldn't put it in here, so I hope they do.
Also in Remake.
Yeah, that's true.
The big bad evil guy, President Shinra, did smoke the room full of
I'm sure it'll be there.
Puff of smoke with a cigar. But it was first a cigar, second an evil guy. So, I don't know.
Maybe it's a side quest. We have to go and grab him a pack of cigs or something.
Maybe, yeah, who knows. Or maybe he says, I've been smoking a lot back in the day, but now I quit smoking. That shit is just not for me. I don't know. That was a real bad impression because I wasn't prepared, but
yeah, exactly.
But something like that, maybe it just quit, or Shara made him quit, or something like that. Who knows?
Maybe Shara hid his cigarettes.
Oh, yeah, just hid it. Hid it from him, and he just kept buying, and then they kept disappearing, and I don't have the money anymore, and then it just stopped buying, and I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. I feel like they'll probably turn it into like a part of the story, maybe.
Yeah, pretty sure. Maybe it is there, but not as prevalent as in the original way. He always had it tucked into his the side of his goggles, the goggle strap, because that's why it's missing. But it's possible that he sometimes he has one in one of his pockets and just maybe lights one up at some point in the story, and the other give him shit for that. Who knows? So something like that could work, I suppose, to still keep him a good guy and not a bad example for others regarding smoking. Because when a villain smokes, villains are not a good example anyway, so that can be a bad example. But good guys cannot. Maybe that's the thought process behind it. But it's also, I think, if I remember correctly, smoking is very frowned upon in Japan generally. So maybe that's also they did not want to promote smoking and just eliminated it from the game, or at least from view as much as they could without tinkering with his character too much. But we have seen barely anything from Sid, so it's too early to judge anyway.
Yeah, maybe they'll show like some background story. Maybe something happens to him and then he starts smoking because he's so stressed.
Or that, yeah. When he loses the opportunity to go to space.
Something. Yeah, I don't know if he just always smoked in the original. He always had it, right? There was no explanation. He just had it.
No, well, the field model was always the same anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think that is a clear indicator, but it is possible that he only started afterwards, or they could easily retcon it, because I don't think there's any evidence for or against him smoking before the failed launch of the Streamers 26. At least not that I could remember. Maybe there is some weird information somewhere in an interview or a novel or what have you, which I cannot remember right now. But
same. Well, I'm just excited that we got to see Sid, and that he's going to be in this game. It's been confirmed that he's not playable in this game, right? And some people were saying probably not even like a side, like controllable character, just as basically a fast travel person. You know what I mean? Like you go there and he's there, and then he flies you to wherever on the map that you want to go to, and maybe you talk with him, but like he doesn't actually join you in battle.
That's also the feeling I get. I don't think it's explicitly confirmed, but in his render and everywhere else, he does not have his weapon. We have not seen his weapon yet, so that's probably why he does not use a weapon. It is not playable, or at least not accompanying us in battle. It's basically just our fast travel buddy.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I think people are disappointed.
I guess it's fine. When they stop at the Forgotten Capital, between Rocket Town and the Forgotten Capital, there is not much in between. There is the Gold Saucer again, with the keys, getting the Keystone. Then there is the Temple of the Ancients, Gongaga, kind of a little bit, and then already Bone Village and the Forgotten Capital. So there's not much in between. There is more than we had with Red 13. But we already have Vincent as a passive party member, so I suppose it's fine.
Yeah. All right, and anything else you want to add here, Vyzz, about Sid?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mentioned something that I will expand on Sid, and what I really, really liked is when you look at his render, the full body render, and then check out his original 2D artwork. It's basically identical, save for the cigarette pack, of course, and maybe kind of slightly different proportions, because his high water trousers were just way up way too high. It didn't make sense. I think they also mentioned it in an interview that they had to redo his proportions a little bit. but basically the clothes and the hairdo and everything else is identical, like down to every single detail. Even the high wind patch he has on his right shoulder, an H and a B, and then the high wind symbol in the middle. It's great. As I mentioned, the only one without the weapon.
Yeah.
Which is quite conspicuous.
I think that's a telling factor for sure, I think.
Yeah, definitely. He's also described as a disgraced pilot who just ferries the party from abandoned airstrips or between abandoned airstrips with his tiny Bronco. So it really does seem like he's just the pilot for this game.
Yeah.
But what I find a little bit curious is, why is he so adamant about wanting to help Aerith? Specifically, because he addresses Aerith and then he wants to help.
In the trailer.
Like with his fist clenching. Like there's something that drives him to help Aerith. I wonder what that is. There's, I think there are many options you could pick from. One of them may be that he was present at the play, he watched the play and loved her singing, maybe, because it is canon that he did watched the Loveless play in Sector 8, or was it at the Gold Saucer? I don't remember where exactly. But he did watch the Loveless play and he fell asleep. But afterwards, he at the time he did not get what it was about, but later he did realize what it was about. And that he liked the premise. I don't quite remember it. I did read the script, the part of the original script from him telling about that. I think it was on the High Wind, very late in the game. But yeah, my speech memory is really bad. That's why I have a hard time remembering song lyrics. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but at least that could be an angle this scene could be taken to, or something else happened before that they helped him and then he wants to help and has a crush on Aerith or something like that, or Aerith did specifically did something for him or for Shera or against Shinra, or who knows.
Yeah,
she's also wanted for 500,000 gil, so maybe that plays into it. Who knows? It's just speculation at this point, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the full context of that scene and why Sid joins. Because in the original game, it was just happenstance. They wanted the tiny Bronco, and then how was it that Sid helped them getting it off the ground, and then it got shut down, and they were just stuck with each other, and that's that.
Well, maybe like you said, like they're wanted, and news has kind of traveled right throughout the world.
Yeah,
and then he knows what they've done and he's like, I want to help the cause because I agree with what you're doing. And
also he hates Shinra because they scrapped his dream,
exactly,
stuff like that, and just kept screwing him over. He's probably also a friend of Avalanche, maybe, if he knows him, but it's possible that he didn't know or got to know about or learned about Aerith's wanted money, wanted poster, something like that.
Yeah.
That's why he specifically singles her out in the plea of wanting to help. At least that's what it sounded like. What I'm a bit worried about, will we see or set foot into Rocket Town or not?
Yeah.
Or maybe only the outskirts, and Rocket Town will be a full place to visit in the next game, because they did say that a few places will not be visible in this game, but in the next time. One of them being Wutai, which makes sense. It was also optional in the original game and did not have a specific point in time you had to visit, but Rocket Town is fixed in the original chain of events. And now it might not be, so who knows? That's why I
don't think we've seen it at all, like on the map or in any of the screenshots or anything like that. So
far,
we've
nothing.
Just seen what is it called? Fort Condor.
Yes, in the far distance we saw it, yeah. And Red 13 also talked about it in the demo we could witness or see others play. There is an airstrip behind Sid in that scene, but it's blurred out because of depth of field, and you cannot really make out much behind it. It's hard to see where it is. And the airstrip you do see clearly is near Gongaga, because you do see the central pillar of the exploded, how's it called? The reactor of Gongaga in the background. So it's possible that scene where it takes off takes place after the Temple of the Ancients, where they move from Gongaga to the northern continent. So maybe that's that, but it is possible that we won't be able to visit Rocket Town at all, and we do not even meet Sid there. Who knows? Or maybe we do, but we are not able to enter Rocket Town because it's infested with Shinra. We're still on the run, stuff like that, and we only are able to visit the airstrip outside of Rocket Town, and that's where we meet Sid, and then he helps us out and just gets us out of the danger zone, so to speak. That's also something I could see.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think probably we're getting Rocket Town and Wutai in the next one.
Yeah,
which is okay.
Properly, at least, yeah. I'm fine with that, because in the end, it's a 3-part series.
Exactly.
And what's the point in cramming everything into one game when there's 3? They also need to keep us wanting to see some locations that are not there yet, because otherwise you would not be looking forward to the next one as much if everything is just in there yet. The rest is just revisiting everything. It would be boring. So, yeah, I think that's about it for Sid from my side.
All right, moving on here, we're going to be talking a little bit about Vincent. So I just said I don't have too much to say. I just love his design. I mean, he wasn't really in this trailer too much. There was just a few scenes with him, and I'm just happy with it. I just can't wait to play this game to see. I just can't wait to go to the Shinra Mansion and discover him and just go through that whole thing. Like, it's going to be so awesome. I just can't wait.
The enemies and the eerie atmosphere. And do you remember this weird blade enemy that hangs from the ceiling, the Giro Felgo? I wonder how they maybe it's even a boss battle, because that one was so weird. Maybe it is a mini boss battle, like something like the Ghoul in
that would be
Chapter 10 in Remake, or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really eerie place, and almost haunted, and so full of weird vibes, and really a place you do not want to be unless you seek the thrill.
Yeah.
Like going to haunted houses, or abandoned houses, or abandoned cities even, or not cities, towns, like ghost towns at night, or going to a cemetery at night, something like that. It needs to feel that way.
Yeah, they're not really giving us too much story about Vincent at all, like in any of these trailers. So I wonder how much he's getting in the game. I hope they do give him some time and some background and to learn about him. You know what I mean? I hope that it's just more than just like we go there, rescue him, and then he just like leaves and says like thanks, and then goes on and like he's just gone or so. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Well,
Red 13 was also not actively playable, but he stuck with us until the end of the game. So maybe Vincent is the same. It's just not playable, or he goes off at times and comes back, or I don't know.
I'm just thinking back to like the other trailers for Remake. Like, I don't even think they showed Red 13 in any of the trailers.
They did in one, like where we meet him, where he says, "I am what you see before."
I think that was like
before
the last one before the game came out, right? I forget now.
No, that was the theme song trailer where they revealed him, and we saw him again in the launch trailer, but the launch trailer is riddled with spoilers and shows every character ever, so that's not a good measuring stick or reference point, basically. But since this is the theme song trailer, possibly second to last until the game launches,
I think we're going to get
kind of a Red 13 situation, Yeah, the launch trailer for sure. But I'm not gonna watch that one. That's no.
That happened the last time, I think, that I watched it. You didn't, but then we had to do an episode, so there's a little bit of skirting around what was.
Yeah. True.
Anyway.
But yeah, a lot of us did not watch it because it's just too much.
Yeah.
What I find strange is that he is a self-proclaimed security guard, security in quotes, that's from the official blog post, who hibernates in a coffin deep below Shinra Manor. So it's... They don't even reveal that he's a Turk. So either it is revealed in the Rebirth, or that's a story for the third game, which I'm pretty sure it will be, because we do not learn about his Turk origins or backstory until we visit Lucretia's cave, or the cave behind the waterfall where Lucrezia is crystallized, like encased in crystal. And that is far later in the story. I don't think you can even get there before you acquire the submarine, which is after Cloud gets back his identity. So that's very late, and cramming this in here would be strange, so I'm pretty sure that's why he is not revealed as a Turk, or former Turk, basically. Just a security guard.
That makes sense.
Which is vague.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's serviceable for a response, I suppose. The thing is, I don't mind Matt Mercer voicing him, but the thing is, with several voice actors on Critical Role, which I've watched a lot in the past, he is the dungeon master of this Dungeons and Dragons live show. There's also his wife, Marisha Ray, and she speaks a character in the Trails of Cold Steel sub-series. And every time she speaks, it fits the character. But every time she speaks, I just have Marisha Ray in front of my inner eye. I cannot get rid of it. It's so distracting. And it's also one of my favorite characters in the games. So it's so strange. And I hope this does not happen with Vincent. That's the only thing I have that might bother me. The only how is it called? Anyway. Yeah, that's the only thing I have potential negative I have for Vincent. Other than that, it's just a weird vampire dude with lots of mysteries enshrouded around him. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes that happens with voice actors, where you just kind of connect with a character that they voice, and then when you hear the voice in other things, you just keep thinking about that one character. That happened with me. It was Lightning's voice actor, because she was in other anime and stuff.
Ali Hillisclop, I think.
Yeah.
Where else did she voice?
I forget. She was in some other things that I watched. I don't know if it was some anime or movies.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Interestingly, Troy Baker is also in everything, and I do not mind that much, because I think he's able to change his voice to a certain degree that you hear it's him if you listen to it. But it's also not as clear that it fits the character much better, and you can still cast off the like your preconceived like the memory of your ears, like your oral memory or audio memory, and still enjoy the character. Like he's playing Snow or voicing Snow in FF13. That's where I know him from. But also Joel in The Last of Us, and those two do not sound alike. Even you do notice it's Troy Baker, but they have this different texture to it, the voices, that it's you do not connect those two, which I like. I think this is also something that happens with many of Erika Lindbeck's voices. She voices Jessie, but also others in other games. Also Trails of Cold Steel, but I do not hear Jessie when I hear that other character speak. Because I think she's also able to just change her voice to a certain degree, to such a degree that it sounds like a different character, not herself. with Marisha Ray, her performance in Trails of Cold Steel and herself in Critical Role Dungeons and Dragons sessions or campaigns, it is so similar, which usually does not matter. But for me, I only know those two voices, and it's so distracting. I think it's just a me thing, and it's usually not an issue. Yeah, I think that's about it. What I can say about Vincent in general. Although I'd say his looks, we also got a render of his whole body, and while so many details differ, like the overall image is still exactly the same. It's you look at him, okay, it's just modern Vincent. It's HD Vincent. It's just a new era of Vincent, but it's still the same. It doesn't feel like some weird fan art or new continuity or anything like that. It still feels like the same Vincent. That's what I like. That's something that should happen much more often. That it's you take an old character, very low res, or just not as detailed character art, and depict that character in the modern after modern standards. And even if so many details are different and so many details are added, it still feels like the exact same character. That's I really like that so far. Let's just hope that his performance in the game also feels the same. But so far, it's good. No bad vibes so far. Before we move on, a little something that's not really connected to Vincent, but in the coffin room, there's also a potion vending machine, and next to it, as probably almost everywhere in Rebirth, is a Magnata automat, and we have first good look on how it looks like from the front, which is it is such a weird looking thing. It's I do not want to go into detail right now because it would take too long, but it is very reminiscent of the elements and details and things there are in the Magnata bookstore in Undertunon. I think there was one reviewer that went in there. You could see the insides, and there was this panel with the 9 purple material-looking orbs there, which were connected. It's the same panel that's also on the Magnata automat. And the circular thing behind the counter, it's adorned with also bigger purple orbs and this weird face in the middle and the swirls around it. It's the same face and the swirls are also on this Magnata automat below the circle thing. And I still have no idea no conclusive idea what the thing is about. Is it connected to Queen's Blood? Is connected to the figurines we can pick up, like the Play Arts Sweeper. I think you can dig up with a Chocobo in one of the demos, like the Grassland demo. Or is it connected to the songs for piano performance? Like, can we buy songs there? Sheet music? Is it something completely different? Is it? I don't know. It's just such a weird thing that I don't know. But it's everywhere, apparently. There's also a Magnata store in Calm, and as I said, in Undertunon. So it's something that is all-encompassing. It's something that you'd need to interact with almost as much as with the vending machines, buying potions or other things. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Just wanted to let people know that there's also Magnata automat in there in the trailer. You can see it, you can pause it, enhance it, or enlarge the image, and you can see how it looks like.
All right, so moving on here, let's just talk about Zach for a little bit. So you wrote a lot about Zach, so you can
I did
start off, and I'll just make some comments while you're talking.
All right, sounds good. So yeah, there's a lot. I tried to keep it short because we do not want to sit here for 4 hours. But it's interesting that the tagline "The world will be safe, but will you?" is again shown in a scene with Zack. In the previous trailer, it was also seen where in that shot where he looks towards the rift in the sky with a cloud on his back. So that tagline certainly connects to him in a way, even though Tetsuya Nomura-san said that you can interpret this line in any way you want, like with any pair of characters, like is it Cloud talking about Tifa, is it Aerith talking about Zack, or vice versa, or I don't know, Barret and Avalanche, or Barret and Marlene rather, just something like that. And I think it means like, I am going to save this world, but will you be a part of that world? So it's a little bit of a head scratcher sometimes, because you could easily misinterpret that thing. And the German version of this, or not the German, but German and Japanese, both are very similar version of this tagline, is a little bit different. I forgot to write it down, and my memory is just right now a little bit of a of a butthole, to be frank. But it is similar, but it has a different connotation to it. It's like, will you be in the world I am going to save, or I'm attempting to protect, rather. So I want. So it kind of sounds like to me, somebody wants to protect the world, but is not sure if that you will also be a part of that world. Which also is up to interpretation, I suppose, and that's probably the point of it. That we do not have enough context to actually really understand this. And it also has been a while since I've been racking my brain about this line, and if I do not think about something for like a month or two, most of things will be gone and need to check my notes to get myself up to speed again. So, but it's fine. It's a tagline that certainly has relevance and is connected to Zack in a way, because why show it the tagline in two different trailers in the same context? Like one with the Zack and the Rift in the Sky, and another one with Zack during his last stand, where he claims he felt every bullet and maybe insinuates that he should have died but didn't, which also brings into question, does he just remember feeling the bullets but then somehow survived, or does he actually remember dying to the bullets but then woke up, or like kind of feels like he should have died but he didn't, but he remembers dying but he isn't dead? Something like that. It's just up to interpretation, I suppose. But what's interesting is, in the Japanese version, he says he felt the wind. And some people just immediately jumped to whispers, because when you do not see the whispers, you can still feel the wind, apparently, when they're brushing past you or stuff like that.
That's true.
So maybe it's just him feeling the whispers intervening and saving him, basically, for some reason. Which is which I extensively discuss in previous videos, or we also talked about that. So I won't reiterate. So yeah, the thing is, we do see a headshot coming. So it's possible that a headshot is supposed to happen, but at the very last second does not. Who knows? We'll see, I suppose. That's also the line I keep saying, we'll see, I suppose, because that's all we can do. We can try to find out what means what, and what that entails, how things will turn out. We could be 50% sure, 90% sure, 100% sure, whatever. In the end, we do not know for sure, and we'll have to see. And I do not like to go die on a certain hill.
Yeah, same.
I would want to plant my flags on many hills and then see which flag survives, does not topple over. I don't know. Weird analogy, but let's just roll with it.
Yeah. The tagline is just, it's ambiguous enough for you to not know exactly what, like who they're talking about. It could be anyone. So.
Yep.
Like, I know that it's been shown with Zach, but they've done this before where they kind of have people talking and saying lines, but it's showing a different scene.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah,
everything is out of
definitely.
context. It could be about anyone.
Oh, for sure.
In my opinion, anyway. But
it also could be that it's not about Zack specifically, but this other world. Like there is some weird parallel world thing going on. It's even confirmed in one of the tweets where Tetsuya Nomura talks about the meaning of the key art with Cloud, Sephiroth, and Zack, and the 3 worlds: Cloud's world, Zack's world, and Sephiroth's world. And just on surface level, it could be easily interpreted as there's a world where Cloud lives and goes about, like the one we play through. There's a world where Zack lives, and those two have been torn apart by Sephiroth, as is also confirmed.
Right.
But then there's also the 3rd world, that's Sephiroth's world, and that is probably the world in the far future where the planet is about to die, 7 seconds before the world ends. And the other 2 are basically 2 competing strands of memory. One that is the one that happened, but is now also kind of in danger, and then a separate one that is completely different from the actual memory of the planet's continuity, where Zack is alive, where everything is different. So, yeah, that's my current interpretation, and it's easy to say that because it is about this world will be saved, but will you? It looks like there is a discrepancy. There are 2 worlds. There's one world which might be saved, but will you or some person be saved either within that world or within another, or who knows? It's just some weird, vague shenanigans that you can interpret in any way. It gets us talking. Prime example, us here. So, yeah. I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Do not want to elaborate further because there are other things to talk about. Like the botched Midgar behind Zack. It's the same flat reactor-backed and double-layered Midgar we've seen in the Zack scenes in Remake. It could just be that the asset was botched back then, and since it's the same area, same scene, the same assets will be used, and nobody cares because Midgar is just in the background. It kind of looks like Midgar. It's fine. It will not be shown close as a close-up or like for an extended amount of time. Here we only see it behind Zack in a scene that is just moving around. But
they didn't even go back and change it.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, wow.
But it's also possible that it is on purpose. But that would irritate me even more, because why? Why would you redesign Midgar, especially with double plates, like 2 layers of plates, and a weird flat back with no number? Even the first Soldier, which had flat-backed reactors, even they had reactor numbers painted on them. But those here do not. What's also missing are those floaty platforms that stand out, like that are connected to Sector 0 in the middle, but like hover above each plate, or almost each plate. And in this version of Midgar, they're also completely missing. So something is just weird. And either it is really a mistake and nobody cares, because let's be real, the Sector 6 crumbled plate above Sector 5, they never fixed it. It is so clear as day, you can see it, it's seen everywhere, it's so wrong, and yet they did not seem to care. So who knows? It's just, I don't know.
They're just hoping nobody knows. Nobody notices.
Yeah, or just, I don't know, just a different team that created it, and they created like that, or were also worked on the first Soldier version, because that's where the flat-backed reactors hail from, and just forgot to paint the numbers on it, and just said, well, we did our job, we got paid, it's fine. And QA maybe said something, maybe not. And those in charge said, well, it's fine. We don't see it that closely anyway. It's fine. We do not want to spend any more money on fixing those things. So many different possibilities, and by now I just stopped caring. Maybe I'll care again in the final game when there's more context to it, but we'll see. yeah, then there's, as we mentioned before, Biggs is now in the same continuity as an alive Zack, and all the others are dead, it seems. And also, what's more, if you remember the flowers in the scene with Marlene in Remake, like he hears, or she feels her daddy calling out to her through the drop of the flower. Then she looks outside, and then you see all those flower petals floating or being blown towards the plate. And in the previous trailer, where we see the rift in the sky, 6 lily petals are also blown from the direction of Aerith's house towards the rift in the sky. So maybe those two are connected, which would mean that Marlene, the one we saw in Remake at the end, is also in the same continuity as an alive Zack, and that's why she heard her daddy. And we are led to believe that it's the Barret on the outskirts, the one that stretches out his arm and also says Marlene. But maybe it's her daddy dying in her continuity. Also, just as Jesse, Wedge, and Tifa did, according to the Wanted poster, where they are crossed out. Only Biggs remains. And it's also strange. The way he says it implies that all the others, like Barret, Tifa, Jesse, and Wedge, died during Platefall, and he survived. And there might not be a connection to those we saw on the highway in the Summer Game Fest trailer. It's also strange that in the Summer Game Fest trailer, that there's a talk about a tornado. We see it also talks about sectors 1, 2, and 0 to have been affected, but we escape on or through sector 5, and it's just so many weird things that just don't quite fit. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe there really are now 3 continuities. One where all of them are injured or dead on the highway. One where they all died in Platefall and Big survived. There's the continuity we play through that is closest to OG. And I don't know. Maybe one of those is just a possible future or a possible sidearm that could have happened but didn't. And I don't know. It's just a weird situation, I feel. And you always cannot quite know, is it a mistake? Is it on purpose?
Right.
Are we just missing crucial information? Or am I just dumb? I don't know. Just a weird
combination of all of those?
Probably.
Except for you're dumb, because you're not, but...
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I am.
Supposed to make sense. You're just supposed to go with it.
That is true. Yeah. Let's just go with the flow and see where it's headed, I suppose. Yeah, but it certainly is in the Sector 5 Undercity, where Biggs and Zack converse, because we have seen Zack only in either outside of Midgar or within Sector 5. And also the way the area behind Zack and Biggs are designed screams Sector 5, especially the board where some posters and the Wanted poster is hanged up on. It looks like that is the corner where Chadley was standing before, and the blue rest bench was located. Because the garbage area below looks the same, and there's also this rolled down, the blinders, what have you, is rolled down from the store, and it looks quite similar. It's possible that just exchanged the bench with this this wooden sign or wooden signpost where all those weird posters are hanged on. I don't know, or maybe it's just asset usage and it's somewhere else. But it is. I think it's best to assume it's Sector 5 because Biggs also woke up in Sector 5 in a Leaf House. And why would he just go somewhere else and Zack go to a different sector and meet up there doesn't make sense. So Sector 5 is the most sensible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Zack visiting Elmira is also a thing because Cloud arrived, and in Remake Chapter 8, and Elmira didn't like it, and at night also told him to just book it and not look back, and because he does not want Aerith to be hurt again, basically. Leave, never come back, Cloud. It's most likely because of Zack, because he let Aerith alone for 5 years and didn't return any letters, and this made Aerith sad. So, and Cloud is also a soldier, has the same sword as Zack. And why is now Zack in there? It is possible that I think the most sensible interpretation is Zack, after dropping Cloud off at Kyrie and possibly going to the church, not finding Aerith there, went back to Elmira's house to ask what's going on with Cloud. And Elmira cannot, as we've seen with Wedge, she cannot refuse to give shelter to people in need. Cloud is in need. And that's how he gets in and is now quote unquote welcome, temporarily at least, because Elmira wants to take care of Cloud. And that's why he's there. And Aerith seems to be there. So I wonder, how did she get there? Did the Turks deliver her?
I just find it really weird because, like, doesn't she know that Zack is dead? I guess she doesn't know.
No,
in this
Elmira doesn't know.
Because he actually didn't die, so it just erases her memory of... I guess it's different. It's a copy of her. See, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm like, why is she... Okay, they're there, but she doesn't remember what happened with Cloud and Zack dying and...
Well, I'm pretty sure that Elmira does not know of any of it. Aerith felt Zack dying in the church, but I'm not sure what she told Elmira, if anything. And it's possible that Elmira just thinks, oh, Zack abandoned her 5 years ago and just never came back, and he's an ass. That's basically what I gather.
Okay.
So that's an easy out for the whole situation, so that Elmira just, okay, you did come back, but now she's out. Good job. Something like that. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that she will give him crap for things, for not showing for 5 years. But since he has Cloud, who is in need, she just lets it slide, I suppose. There's also Marlene there, and the whole situation is weird. But yeah, who brought Aerith back? It's easy to assume it was the Turks. But but did she fall unconscious during Platefall? Or is that the same Aerith we saw in the helicopter being picked up on the highway? It's, questions after questions after questions. But then there's the thing with her waking up and then a scary man apparently out to kill her, which, of course, Sephiroth. Others said, well, maybe Cloud controlled by Sephiroth. Like, Sephiroth could always just take control over this comatose Cloud, and then he just walks around weirdly and wields the Buster Sword when Zack's not around. Who knows? I don't know. It's just so many things that could happen, because that continuity is just weird. Anything can happen there. It does not need to adhere to any established canon, because it's different. Zack is now alive, so who knows what they're doing with that. And yeah, it's a weird situation anyway. And one interpretation is when Aerith dies, is killed by Sephiroth in Cloud's continuity, like in the original continuity, that
she's gonna wake up.
She's gonna wake up on the other side, and then has to be protected from Sephiroth again, because probably when she dies there, her soul will be gone for good or something. I don't know what Sephiroth's plan is. It's possible that he just wants to kill Aerith's spirit, not just kill her in memory.
She live in the live stream,
yep,
even though she's dead. So
yeah, she's etc. Like not like him, but she's similar like him, that her will does not diffuse into the live stream.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the things right now I wanted to talk about regarding Zack, I suppose. We could go into more detail, of course, but then we'd be here all night. So I'll cut it there. I'll cut it there.
Lots of mysteries with Zack, which is what they told us, right?
Yes.
He's essential to the story.
Oh, one more thing. We could talk about it afterwards, but since we are already talking about Zack, in the Game Informer article, they said that we have used the character Zack to depict the combined view of the original creator's intent of how this world of Final Fantasy VII came to be and its policies and rule governing this world. So through Zack, we will learn how all those things work, like the live stream, the different continuities, and why he's alive, and what Sephiroth is doing. So that's, as much as the whispers within the story, Zack is an equally immensely important, crucial key character to the story. And I believe fans will enjoy it within Rebirth. That's a developer quote from this article. So yeah, I guess we can look forward to being taught
some
about
explanation.
How, everything works through the story of Zack.
Good.
Well, yeah. If it turns out to be true, yeah. let's hope everything is cleared up. Well, not everything, but at least that aspect. I do not want to wait for another game that explains the things we have questions for in Remake and in Rebirth. Like, at some point, certain things need to be answered.
All right, so moving on here, we're going to talk a little bit about Sephiroth. So I just said I'm happy about him not really being the focus to this trailer too much. Like, he wasn't in it, just that like scene with the flames with him in it. I said it's more like the OG where, he's like looming in the background and there's kind of this ominous presence, you know what I mean? But not front and center, which is what people were critical about in Remake, because they're like, why is he there? So I appreciated that. And I think that this game is probably going to be like that as well, where it's going to be so much exploring and learning about the characters and being in their worlds and relationships between them. I don't know like how much is going to be focused on him.
Well, I think it depends on the point in the story. Like in Temple of the Ancients, he needs to be front and center, of course, towards the end. Also in the Forgotten Capital, and maybe in between, like when he appears in Dr. Sharon's office or clinic, where he tells Cloud, "Hey, my truth is your only truth. Do not believe his lies," whatever he says. Well, that's definitely not verbatim. It's very much paraphrasing, but that's what he means, because that's also something that has been revealed last trailer. Dr. Sharon is a doctor we will visit, and he's also the one in Traces of Two Paths, in Tifa's chapters, is confirmed to be the doctor who fixed her sternum. It was not the doctor in Sector 8. The one in Sector 8 only fixed the skin part, but the sternum, the actual bone structure, was fixed by Dr. Sharon. Or Sheeran, or however he's pronounced. So he knows that Tifa was injured, is alive, and is the same. But as we've heard from Sephiroth a few times, he wants Cloud to believe that the Tifa is traveling with is an imposter, not the same from back then, from 5 years ago, because that one is apparently dead. Sephiroth killed her. But that's not the case. So Sephiroth needs to keep Cloud in the dark about this. And Dr. Sharon is definitely, a wrench in Sephiroth's plans. So that's also a very important part of the story, I suppose, because that is something that has not quite been in the original game, that Sephiroth wants to cast doubt on Tifa. He only casted doubt on Cloud himself, like, okay, you were a copy, you're not the same as was then, or the Cloud never existed, only somebody that Tifa might have called Cloud, but that's not you. You're a clone, you're a copy, you're a nobody. You're just my puppet. But now, since Sephiroth knows that angle did not work in the original timeline or a version of events now needs to do it a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
But this has already been a thing in 3 trailers, in the reveal trailer, Summer Games Fest, and Tokyo Game Show, pretty sure. And that he now does not appear at all, save for this infamous flame scene from the Nibelheim incident. Just a short, I think a second or half a second shot of him in the flames. No Sephiroth at all. Nothing. No talk about him, nothing. And I like that. Because it's not all about Sephiroth, it's also about other things.
Yeah, I just think that we're going to be spending a lot of time exploring and doing things together as a party and learning things about each other and the people in the world, where it's going to take, like, he's going to take a little bit of a backseat. You know what I mean? Which it's still, the thread is there, and we're going to still obviously go through the story and learn things and that sort of stuff. But I just feel like it's different from Remake, where he was just in it a lot more.
Yeah.
I feel.
But that's also due to the shorter length. Like, there's a little bit more density to the story in Remake compared to Rebirth, as much as I can gather, at least. So let's just say the amount or the number of Sephiroth appearances are the same in Remake and Rebirth. It will still feel like less in Rebirth than it is in Remake, because the story takes longer and has so much more exploration.
So much more.
Exactly, yeah. More exploration time and more side quests and stuff, where Sephiroth is just not a part of.
Yeah. I think that they said the side content makes up about 80% of the game.
Yeah, around that. Yeah.
And the story is about 20%. But they don't mean that the side content is
not hours, but in terms of raw content, probably. But in play hours, it's around 40, 60.
Yeah.
Like 40 hours.
But the side
and 60
content is actually like applicable to the story. It's not like tacked on side quests that are just like, you're doing things. Obviously, there's things like that in there, but that's just what they meant, that you're going to be doing so much like discovering and learning. And
a lot of it is also optional, it seems. Even stuff that is connected to the main story, it's still optional. It's not necessary to understand the core of the story, but you'll probably have a much better experience when going through all those story-laden quests, like the one we saw with Red 13, where we need to find which monster keeps killing the cattle. Flower picking with Aerith. Those are, I think, the only 2 that have been confirmed. And stuff like that, yeah. And there's also one other thing that connects to Sephiroth, but is not actually, like, the trailer does not mention him, and you do not see him, but the very final shot with Aerith praying, when you pay close attention, when it fades to the logo, you see the camera just swoop up, like pan up quickly.
Oh.
Basically panning up to Sephiroth dropping down from below, but you do not see it. You only see the camera starting to pan upwards. So it's implied that the deed will be done a few seconds after this scene, and that's why the whispers are floating around. Either because there really are the whispers, the same ones that try to keep faith intact, or because now Sephiroth has taken over, that they are where Sephiroth are and will help him change things. And
that's what I think, because he destroyed them, right?
Yeah.
Or we destroyed them for him, and then he
but he also took
them or something.
He also took control over him in the final battle. That is true. So
yeah.
Maybe it's us, like us in Cloud Group, and especially Aerith, who try to keep the story intact, kind of. But Sephiroth and the Whispers try not to. Like, maybe there's a role reversal, that the Whispers are now trying to interfere.
Interesting.
Because Sephiroth is now in control. We'll see. Maybe it's completely different, and we're being dragged around by our noses or something. Who knows? Yeah, I think that's about it for Sephiroth, because he was barely in the trailer, or if not, if at all. But I still wanted to mention a few things.
Yeah. All right, so we're just going to talk quickly here about anything else that we saw during the trailer. So there was a scene with Barrett that was shooting the ground with Cloud and Aerith, and they're all wearing their costumes. So I just thought it was interesting. Like, what does this, like, what's going on here, like, in this scene? It looks like also that they're in a battle arena. Like, it doesn't look like they're on stage, and it doesn't look like it's a part of the play. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure it is, and those bullets are basically blanks, but I know what you mean. It does look a bit weird, but it is they are in their costumes for the play, so it must be part of the play. But yeah, we'll see, I suppose. But for me, it is just clear that it's part of the play, and the rest in the background is just like the set piece.
Oh, the set piece from the play.
Set piece from the play. And
makes sense.
Barrett has just like those blanks they're shooting out and creating sparks. Nothing fatal, of course, and does not aim at Cloud and Aerith. And it's something. It looks dangerous, but actually is not. But it is interesting that he shoots at them on stage. That is something I did not expect either. So I get you.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking it was something else, like a battle arena or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, we got a good look at some of the summons, which we talked about already. And Mr. Coates is Solemn Gus in Coral Prison. I thought it was a new character, but then I realized after. So
yeah, I also think his personality is fitting. Also, a little bit more, maybe flamboyant is not quite the right adjective, but he's dubbed a showman in the PlayStation blog or the Square Enix blog. Mm-hmm. So he really seems like putting on a show all the time, and it shows definitely.
Yeah, and he's got gold teeth.
Yep, he does. Yeah, we did not see that, of course, in those low poly models, but I'm pretty sure he already had those gold teeth back then. But we just couldn't see it. But the swag was already there, like the golden chain.
Yeah.
Dual golden chain.
Yeah.
What I find interesting is his henchman behind. It's such a weird choice of garments, like very like this very short vest, barely covering the chest. So a weird combination of colors, and I don't know. It's just a weird fashion statement, but I like it. It fits that weird.
Yeah.
The weirdness, let's say, of the Corral prison, because it is a den of lowlifes, basically. And since Mr. Coates or Solemn Gus is the not quite chief, because the chief or the boss is Dine, but one below him, it's just he knows Dine will probably have his back or something, and he can do what he wants, and he's brash and colorful and what have you, and everybody else probably cowers in fear because I suppose. Not quite sure, but I suppose that if anybody wants to or will attack Gus, will also deal with Dine. Like classical mafia hierarchy or something. And after, we only get into his face after dealing with Dine. And that's why when he also backs off, like becomes afraid. So at first, he will just be himself, put on a show, and play himself up. But after beating Dine, he'll probably just cower in fear. I'm so looking forward to that scene. But Barrett just grabs him and holds him up into the air or something.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about her, and she also has not been shown, but not Elsa, not Estelle, Elise. No, how's she called again? Esther. Yes, Esther. I have so many other names in my mind from other games, but Esther was it. She's also such a weird-looking gal, even in polygon form. I'm so looking forward to seeing her remake or rebirthed costume. It just reminds me of her because she's the one who picks us off from Mr. Coates before then the Chocobo race starts. Yeah, I think that's about it from your side, right?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, I already mentioned a few things at the start, like Bugenhagen Red 13's tattoo, Red Bugenhagen's clothing, like the symbol on his clothing and the tattoo is the same. Looking forward to learning more about. We saw G Natak. Also looking forward to that boss battle. I really, really hope we can one-shot him with an X potion. That would be so funny.
I hope so. Probably not, though.
No, probably not. Just spam healing spells to damage him. Was the same with the ghost, the ghoul enemy in chapter 10 of Remake.
Yeah, isn't it you throw Phoenix down and then it's just KO?
Is it KO? I think it was just not instant KO, or at least max damage. And it could fail, I think, but I don't remember. Maybe it was like a 50-50 chance of hitting, and if it hit, it was instant KO. I don't know.
I think so, yeah.
Or just a lot of damage, and then it advanced to the next stage, because I think it also had 3 stages or phases. Or 2, I don't know. Yeah. Certainly also interesting to see how the flames will act. Like those flames go into the characters' bodies, like take them over, and then.
Yeah, I saw your posting on Twitter where you had circled the flames.
Right.
Going around.
Yeah, and those. Yeah, we'll see how they'll handle it. I think it works if they just fly around and suddenly make an attack and then take over a character, and then it just keeps doing damage over time, like poison, basically.
Yep.
And then you need to maybe cast an ice spell on that character to get them out again. I don't remember how exactly it worked in the original game. But you could get those flames out of the characters again. I think just attacking or ice magic or something like that. Yeah, also nice to see to have seen a glimpse of the ship deck, the ship from Junon to Costa del Sol. And I posted this a few days ago. You can see, maybe it's Queen's Blood, maybe it's another term, but you can see a Q, U, and an E, and a possible second E through the window in this screenshot or in this short clip. Like there's stairs to the second floor, and behind there's a window showing the insides of the ship, and you can see that probably saying Queen's Blood in there. And that's my conclusion is, or theory is, that there's a Queen's Blood tournament going on inside during the whole thing. Maybe not. Maybe it says something completely different, but who knows? There was a little bit more context to the parade, the welcome ceremony parade, because it was confirmed that we need to collect soldiers from all over the place to form our group and then perform the parade. And in one screenshot and a short clip, we can see a list of collected soldiers already with a number next to them. It looks like HP, is probably not, probably more like capability or morale or something like that, or endurance. Just some weird value. Also a line that indicates if that value is full or not. That's why some people thought it was HP. Yeah, we'll see how it actually works in the end. But I'm looking forward to that whole section, because it's not just a weird minigame. You have to get into a line and click the button a few times, and then you're done. But you actually need to work for that minigame before it even starts. So that's going to be interesting. There's one more thing regarding the dialogue. There's Cloud doubting himself. Like he realizes that there are things he knows he should not know, and that he knows he should know but doesn't. Like his mind starts crumbling. He knows something ain't right here. And Tifa then consoles him that it's going to be all right. Now it's my turn to help you, because he did help her back then. So this should probably happen much later in the game. Maybe there's something in Nibelheim, maybe, but I kind of have a feeling it is at the earliest in the Temple of the Ancients.
Mm.
Because then he starts to break down first in the original game. On the other hand, things tend to happen earlier in general, so who knows where it's actually happening. But I found that's interesting that they included that section in there. It's also Tifa doubting Cloud's tales, because she knows he wasn't there 5 years ago, but he claimed to have been there. This was in the Summer Game Fest trailer, where Tifa talked about her doubts to Aerith. But now Cloud has those doubts himself, talking to Tifa, so it's going to be interesting. I tried to search for that part of dialogue in the original script by searching for Remember, but could not find it, because I thought there was a part of a dialogue where Cloud said something like that, but I couldn't find it. It's a bummer, but I was trying to find whether that dialogue existed in the original game or not, or maybe just made it up. So, we'll see, I suppose. My standard finishing sentence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that's pretty much everything about the trailer. So we're going to be moving on. We're just going to quickly talk about some newly revealed information here in the Game Informer article. So one of the things that stood out to me was Crow's Nest is a new area. So the people that live there, like it's already established. So it's members of Avalanche. So they already know about Cloud. It said that Cloud can play the piano for the side quest there, and he finds new sheet music.
Right, yeah.
Which is really cool. Obviously, we talked about the affinity meter, character side quests, and the synergy system. There was a quote, I forget who it was from. I think it might have been from...
Yeah, I know what you mean. I also don't remember exactly who said it. Hang on, let me just...
There's really standing by... They basically just said the person who dies should not return in this title.
Yes.
Right? So, like... Because people are freaking out thinking Aerith is going to live, and the original is going to be changed, but apparently not. And I guess they're just confirming that. Well, they didn't say Aerith, so... But they're just saying... If somebody dies, they're not returning.
Yeah.
To this title specifically. So
they also ended saying, and that is what we did with the original. So it's still vague whether they are only talking about the original work or specifically Rebirth. But it does seem like
that's true.
It does seem like, since it depicts life and death in here, and they do not want to cheapen somebody's death by having them return, as it happened in previous Final Fantasies. I think we already talked about this in previous episodes. It all leads to us to believe that they want to her death to mean something, and that death is sudden and sometimes meaningless at the surface. Like, it just happens, and you cannot do anything about it, and you have to deal with it. That is something so many characters had to deal with in the original game. Like Barrett's, where his wife died. And then he saw his best friend fall to his death. Well, he didn't die, but still, and his whole town burned to ash. Tifa lost her father. Aerith lost her mother, and all about Seto and Nanaki, all those things. Also, Red 13, or aka Nanaki, also loses Bugenhagen later in the game. There's so much loss, and it's all final, at least for those who still live. And they have to live with the losses and deal with it. That's the main point. So that's, I think, since they keep hammering that home, that Aerith will be killed, like, at face value here. But since Zack is also part of the equation, and there seems to be different continuities and all of that, I think the surprises are connected to those new elements and whispers and everything. But the main continuity which we play through with Cloud and the others, I don't think that will change. That they will still lose Aerith and have to live with her death.
Interesting.
But still,
They brought Zack back though.
Yeah, I
He
know.
was dead.
I know.
So like you're just being.
I think that's something I am still on the fence on, because yes, Zack now lives and his death is crucial to Cloud's arc, but I think that's also what's connected to Sephiroth and his new endgame. That those who do not die do so or survive because of Sephiroth, because he tries to screw everything up to reach his goal. But I think Aerith is really a thorn in his eye, because she is that powerful regarding the live stream memories and all that's things, and she probably needs to go away for good. And I'm also pretty sure that he does not quite care about Zack living now. He cares about Cloud not being Cloud. That the Cloud cannot get into or screw up his plans, as he did multiple times in the original game, in Advent Children, and somewhere else, I think. Oh no, only those two, but twice in the original game. 5 years ago, where he killed him, and at the end, and then again in Advent Children. So Cloud needs to be off the equation. Same with Aerith. But Zack was never part of that equation, so him living is probably not that much of a concern. But that's probably also what, in the end, screws Sephiroth over, because he does not account for Zack. So he's the wild card.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Was that it just presents a different challenge for Sephiroth.
Exactly.
Doing this,
exactly,
which he probably didn't account for.
And that's also why I think that Aerith will wake up in Zack's continuity when she dies in Cloud's continuity. But then, since Zack is there, he might be able to protect her from Sephiroth, who wants to kill her there too. Like, wants to erase her existence from the live stream. That she cannot interfere anymore as the last Cetra. That's my current guess. Maybe things will be different, but that could make sense. Because otherwise, what's the point of Zack surviving other than just Cloud not waking up? I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. But it's just a crazy mind game.
Oh, yeah. And they know it. I'm pretty sure that is intricately planned out, that we who know what should happen will keep racking our brains, and we will make conclusions that will lead into to wrong conclusions, or into one-way streets. Like, yeah, that's the thing, because since we know everything, and if I think they talked about this many times, that had they created just a one-to-one remake, just everything but prettier, it would be novel at first, but then it would wear off novelty, and then it's just the same game again, just looks prettier, and you play it once, twice, and then it's gone again. But with this, it is largely the same game, nostalgia everywhere, but there's still this tiny thing that just is different. Yeah. And how will it end up? And they know that, and they are playing with that masterfully, that we are not able to pinpoint what's actually going on. And I'm pretty sure they will keep certain things vague until the very end. Like in the original Final Fantasy VII. At the end, we do not know for sure. Like, let's just toss the whole compilation to the bin for a moment. We do not know if humanity survives or not, because Bugenhagen said Holy will just cleanse what's a problem for the planets, and if it deems humans also a problem for the planet, it will cleanse those too. And in the end, we only see a huge light illuminating all our characters' faces, and then 500 years later. And Midgar is reclaimed by nature. Red 13 is still living, because he's one of those special species. But the others, nobody knows. We hear a bit of children laughing in the background, so it could be, okay, yeah, humanity survived, but nature has reclaimed the planet and all those Shinra things, and it's now all nice and good again. Or maybe humanity did not survive, and now a new species comes up that's more intelligent than normal animals. with
Yeah.
with Red 13 at the forefront or something.
It's Red 13 and Aerith species combined. They cracked it and they combined them together.
Hojo succeeded after all. Oh no.
They're human on top with like Red 13's body in the back.
Kind
of an abomination is this.
You mean Centaurs, but
yes.
Red 13. Oh no. Please make fan art of that, or please don't. I don't know if I should like that or not. I don't know. Yeah. Somebody will do this now.
Anyway, I just wanted to focus on the fact that they said the person who dies in this shall not return in this title.
Yeah.
And I'm like, in this title, what about the next one, right?
Yeah,
like they're talking
fair.
specifically about this game.
Fair, yeah. Sorry for going off the rails, but you're right.
No, it's all good. That's pretty much all I wanted to add about the article. Obviously, there was some new screenshots as well that looked really cool. Anything specifically that we already didn't talk about that you want to add?
A few details, yeah. You said the new location Crow's Nest. Yeah. It's I think it's confirmed to be in the Junon region, as you said, anti-Shinra pro-Avalanche sentiments. And they applaud Cloud after returning from a quest, doing something for them. But there's also Kyrie. She's back, running some sort of mercenary agency nearby in a lighthouse. And apparently the song she plays...
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's some sort of radio thing where she just calls for mercenaries or says, hey, something is there to kill, something there to kill. But that music attracts enemies, and in this case, a flan, blue flan. It says white moose, but it looks blue in the screenshot. Then we kill it for her, and then she wants Red 13 to be her pet. She declines, of course, and then he apparently says that he doesn't wish her onto any of his worst enemies. She apparently is so obnoxious that she just went, okay, no. Yeah, no, seriously, Kyrie is, I could strangle her in Remake. So, yeah. But sometimes such characters are needed for comedic relief and for certain specific character interactions. I liked the interactions in the scenes, but her as a character, as a person, just nah. Mireille needs to be a better job at educating her and raising her.
That's true.
Yeah. Also, in one screenshot, we saw the Condor on Fort Condor in the distance, which was pretty nice. It's also a screenshot where we see the lighthouse in the distance to the left. So this is also the the waypoint to make out where exactly on the map, on the world map, everything lies. I also posted a tweet about that and showing where everything is. As I said, the blue flan, a new enemy, which did not exist. No flan, I think it existed in Remake in the original game. Not sure about the compilation. I don't think. Was there one in Crisis Core? Or is my mind playing tricks?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Wait, did it? No, I'm thinking about Final Fantasy 16. That one had flans in it. Yeah. Now I'm pretty sure Crisis Core did also not have them. So this is the first. Yeah, we killed Destiny, and now enemies from other games seep into this one. Oh no. And it's also pretty nice that we saw a different street from Calm, like a market street, which looked really nice. Also another view on Costa del Sol, different angle, like basically 180 degrees from the one we saw in a trailer, which showed the ship in the background. Now we see the hotel or bar or what have you in the background, like the building and the architecture, which looks very much like southern Spain, I suppose, or also Italy. And he is riding a different Segway, or at least a differently designed one. Red with white flowers instead of this blue one. So either we can buy or rent different models, or we can actually customize it, like the Chocobos, which would be pretty cool. Yeah. Then the ship, there was also a screenshot of the ship on the ocean. The water physics looked to be very good. Well, we did not see the physics per se, but at least the still shot looked good. And the ship is glorious, literally. It looks so good. Also, it's definitely not a cargo ship anymore.
Yeah.
Which we've known since the Trace of Two Past Null, because I think it was in Aerith's chapter, she and Tifa were in the where was it? In the stowaways in Shinra uniforms, in where all the cargo was stored underneath. And they were already talking about the passenger ship there, and that the passengers, also more the higher class, did not quite like the MPs or the Shinra soldiers, and gave him stinky eye and stuff like that. Yeah, I think it's a good change. I don't mind that change because it's much more interesting for it to be a passenger ship between two bigger cities.
Yeah,
just and the cargo ship is a little bit boring, and it's easier to stow away in a passenger ship than a cargo ship only manned by Shinra soldiers and sailors and such. So, and more to do, much more to do. Possibly a Queen's Blood tournament, who knows?
Yeah.
Also, it has a dolphin statue on top, which I find pretty cool. Also a bit of heresy because of Mr. Dolphin, and Mr. Dolphin certainly does not like Shinra. and a mermaid in the front. I'm not sure how you call this, like the statue most ships have on their front. That has a certain name, I forget. But that also looks really good. And some graffiti on the sides, and it also says Shinra and something like that. Really well designed. Looking forward to that specific section. And speaking of the ship, it seems that there's another screenshot inside, possibly even in on this second floor. We can see from below, like the screenshot with the stairs above, where you can see just what is it? A ship mid-market or something like that. Just a shop where you can a souvenir shop probably is there, and above there there's a door inside, and in the screenshot with Cloud and Tifa bumping fists, we see an exit. So it's possible that those two screenshots are connected. Maybe not. Who knows? But the fist bump, I love. This is really a good one. And Aerith also seems to like the fist bump. Or maybe she only seems to like it, and inside, I want him for myself. No, I'm just kidding. Tifa and Aerith are best gals anyway, so. I think that's also from my side. There's not too much to talk about besides the things we have. I think there would be more to talk about, but there are things that were already revealed earlier in the year. We also talked about. They also talked about the making of, basically. I think somebody who, Teruyuki Endo, I think he's called, the battle director. He had a few things to say, but it's less about content of the game, more about the development side around it and stuff like that. So it's I don't think that's something we need to use as filler for the episode. It's already over 2 hours long. So, but it was a good article, nice read, and really good screenshots accompanying it. So I liked it.
Yeah, I'm just really happy with everything that we've been seeing so far and getting, and we're getting pretty much everything that we wanted.
Everything and more.
Yeah, and more, exactly. So, and just can't wait to go back to this world again and experience it and play it, play through it on the PS5. And it's just PS5, so
yes,
I'm excited to see how it runs, because like I said, I've been playing 16 a bit, and it's a little janky. It doesn't run like as well as I hoped it would, even in like performance mode. So it's a little bit of a letdown.
Okay, interesting.
That. Yeah, I just hope this plays at a fluid 60 FPS. I just want 60 FPS.
I'm pretty sure it does. I think Remake in performance mode did really well.
It did.
Yeah,
it did. But
and in graphics mode, it should also run at a smooth 30. And I think even in the demo, which was, I think, months old when it released.
Yeah, it was.
it was already a solid 30. The performance mode, those who did try it, they saw it wasn't quite as smooth, I think. Or was it? No, it was smooth, but the graphics or the image suffered severely sometimes. But at least the frame rate was smooth, or almost as smooth. Or it will be smooth in the end.
Yeah, I think so. I think at that time they had time to optimize it, but
for sure,
like
yeah,
it should be good.
Oh, definitely, because that's what the final moments or the final months are all about. Optimizing, squashing the last bugs. Content complete, I think it was for a long time. Yeah. But yeah. In Final Fantasy 16, I think it was content complete, like basically everything a year before release, and they took a year to optimize everything and squash all the bugs. Maybe add a few things they forgot, but general it was just optimizing for a year on surface level.
Wow.
So it was optimized. Maybe you experienced a few frame drops here and there. I think I also remember a few segments where it stuttered a bit, where it should not have, because there wasn't much going on, just some weird portions. Like when exiting a certain room in your base and going into the main room, this transition made the whole thing stutter because it probably had to load in a few things and then it couldn't keep up with drawing frames or something. It was weird in certain ways, but mostly also in battle it was really smooth.
I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't look that great. Like it looks good, but for the graphics that I'm seeing, like it doesn't look like I should be having any.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like stutter. Like what is happening? I'm not playing in 4K mode. I'm playing in performance mode. Like I get it. I just want it to be smooth, and it's not. And my TV is only 60 hertz. Like I can't go any more than that. So I'm not. And I find it very janky because it's a really big TV. So if I play it in quality mode at 30 FPS, it just makes it so bad that I'm just, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's a big TV. Like I can't.
Yeah, then you see all the frames. That is true. Especially when you're used to 60 FPS. I've heard that so much.
And it's a good TV. Like it's an LG.
Oh, yeah, nice.
When I go, I can make it smooth by adding smoothness to it. But then sometimes it's like frame insertion where the TV will like add frames to it to make it smooth, but sometimes it doesn't work properly. So then anyway, I'm just surprised. Like, okay, they spent a year, but I just hope this game is actually like smooth like it was in Intermission, and because that game looked good.
Yes.
And it was smooth. So
for sure.
I don't need it to look like the most amazing thing that I've ever seen, right? Like that's for PC when it comes out on PC.
Yeah,
so
that is true. Still, as PS5 and PS5 can do a lot, so they also want to push the graphics to its limits. But I'm also pretty certain that they themselves prefer a smooth experience over a perfect image.
Yeah.
So
I think so too.
Let's hope this will turn out to be true.
Yeah. I guess we should be hearing that it's gone gold pretty soon, eh?
Let's hope so, yeah. Unless they don't care and just release it on February 29th, and then we have it. Or maybe it's they say, oh, it's gone gold. Now here have the demo. Maybe.
That would be great. That would be nice. I hope we do get it. I think we will get the demo, but it'll be pretty close to release, which is what it was the demo originally as well, right? I think it came out when? A few weeks before the actual game released.
Was it at the beginning of February? When was it again?
I think it was.
Like around a month, I think, before the original release, but then it was delayed.
It got pushed back, yeah.
So if they release it on January 31st, which was the original release in Japan for the original game, then
that'd be nice.
Could be it works. Then it's only 29 days, like 4 more weeks until game comes out. Would be nice. And it's also the question whether it's the exact same build the others played during the summer or in September.
Probably.
Or maybe one that's a tiny bit polished a little bit more, but I don't know. We'll see. Even if it's just the same build, it doesn't matter. It's more about the gameplay anyway.
Yeah, I hope we get it. I just want to play it.
Yeah, same. Definitely. Not just watch others play, but actually go through everything myself.
Yeah, exactly. Because I literally run and look at everything.
Yep,
and
same.
The Remake demo, I played that so many times.
Yeah, me too.
And it was so short, but I played it like a lot. So
yep.
Anyway. All right, guys. Well, that concludes today's episode. We hope you enjoyed our discussion about the newly released TGA Rebirth trailer and also the Game Informer article. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us. Our email is thereunionpodcast@gmail.com. We do have a Discord server. The link for the Discord server is listed in the description of each episode. We do have a Twitter account, or X. It's @reunion_podcast. You can check out our Facebook page. It's Reunion Podcast, and our YouTube channel is The Reunion Podcast. Vyzz, did you want to go ahead and drop your socials for Cosmo Canyon?
For sure. Not much, but we're mainly on YouTube. Just Cosmo Canyon Observatory on YouTube. Our Twitter handle is @cc_observatory, or X if you prefer. I still don't like that. I'll stick with Twitter. And also, of course, have a Discord server. The link to the invite link is on every YouTube, under every YouTube video in the description, in our Twitter bio. And for a few months now, we have also a Substack, which I should get back to writing articles soon. It is ccobservatory.substack.com. There are also a few very long analysis articles. The latest one is covering all 9 minigames that have been revealed so far in very, very in-depth. It's a huge read. Queen's Blood has already been converted into video format, but the others will follow soon, I hope. Yeah, I think that's about it.
All right, Vyzz. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today about Rebirth, and I think we're both super excited for this game, and just have more, 7 content in my life, because it's been lacking. So
yes, indeed. Also looking forward. Was a blast to talk about Rebirth again with you today. It was fun.
All right, guys. Well, this is Kai. I'm signing off. All the best to you guys. Take care.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.